Alright, so if you don't know what SARS is, it's a special anti-robbery squad and it's a unit of the Nigerian police force. It was established in 1992. Now from the name, you can pretty much guess what SARS is supposed to be doing. But for the past couple of years now, what SARS has actually been doing is terrorizing the lives of Nigerians, specifically young Nigerians. I've read so many of the unspeakable things they've done. They basically target young people and profile anybody with dreadlocks or tattoos or an iPhone or Nike shoes or a MacBook. You know, they accuse people of being Yahoo boys, they rob them, they beat them, they kill them on sight. Basically, SARS has become a very big problem, like a very big cancer in the Nigerian society, and it has to go. But of course, the Nigerian government has refused to do anything about it. Now, one thing I am so grateful for is the fact that, you know, the younger generation has really stood up when it comes to this matter, right? Like, there have been so many protests and just so much on social media that people are pushing. They've been keeping the hashtag ENDSARS trending, and it's such a great thing. But one other thing is that it seems like the older generation doesn't really know or care that much about the whole thing with SARS. You know, the older people that I've spoken to, and even just I've seen a lot of people say on Twitter that, yeah, like their parents don't think it's that serious, or they just think the young people are making noise, or it's a social media thing. I get that they may not be quite as frightened by it because they are not the primary targets of SARS. But I also think that a part of the reason why the older generation doesn't feel the sense of urgency to end SARS is because it's not being televised on like our local news networks. Not really anyway, not the way that it should be. Everything I know about SARS, I first learned from social media and then I read up on my own. I have been hard pressed to find any Nigerian news outlets, at least any of the major ones, you know, who have reported on it. A lot of stuff I read from CNN or BBC or Night. Like, it's ridiculous, and I don't know why Nigerian news outlets are doing that, but for some reason they haven't really reported on it in the ways that they should have. But despite that, I'm honestly so grateful that there has been a lot of public rage, especially with the young people, you know, coming out in hundreds and thousands to protest across different states. I'm so grateful that young people are taking it into their own hands. Alright, so that's just to catch you up to where we are now. So as of today, October 11, 2020, the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, put out a statement, you know, today saying that SARS has been dissolved, and put out just like a document with some information that you need to know with regards to that information, right? Progress, right? No, not progress. This is a problem. The second point on the document says that all officers and men serving in the unit will be redeployed to other police commands, formations, and units. Like, yeah, this is not what we were asking for. They want to keep the same trigger-happy thugs in the police unit, but just scatter them throughout other departments. Basically, so that the same men can just go and continue killing people wherever they are. It's basically just rebranding SARS. And it was so vague. When are they going to take all these actions that they spoke about? It's not Nigeria. Again, like we all grew up in Nigeria. We're not foreigners that you can lie to and will believe you and give you the benefit of the doubt. We need actual change. We don't need to be pacified with some vague statement and an interview on TV. Alright, so speaking of the IG of police, he came out yesterday again, October 13th, and said that since they've dissolved SARS now, they're putting in place a new unit called SWAT, Special Weapons and Tactics, to basically fill in the gaps left by SARS now that SARS has been dissolved. So they're basically just rebranding SARS then. SARS has become such a cancer in our society, and instead of discarding it, you really just want to sweep it under the carpet of the police department. Like, honestly, we all know the Nigerian police is questionable, to be honest. We then want to take these particularly problematic ones and add them to the party, or at least allow them to keep being part of the party in different departments. That's not what we were asking for. Take them out of the police force and give them jobs elsewhere where they are not taking people's lives into their own hands and killing them at will. If there's a hospital where the doctors in the hospital are just always killing people because they don't really care and because they can, you don't shut down the hospital and send those problematic doctors into other hospitals to work and keep killing people. You shut down the hospital, you take away their licenses. They are not supposed to have people's lives in their hands. Honestly, the whole thing just kind of felt like we're saying ENDSARS, and you know, they were saying no, and so okay, so just to pacify the people, they've created door number 3, right? Which doesn't really address the core of what we're talking about, but it's just meant to silence us, at least in the meantime. And the thing is, this isn't the first time that, you know, the Nigerian government has said that they'll take action against SARS. They've done it before, 2017, yes, 2018, yeah. This is not the first time. So why on earth would we believe that they're really going to actually effect change? We don't need words, we need action. SARS people are still in the streets right now, shooting at protesters, killing people. We're not 5-year-olds that you can just give us this toy to pacify us so that we'll stop complaining about the problem. I think the thing is that they actually forget that we're Nigerians us to. That like we know them, like we know the government, we know Nigerian police. This is not, we have heard empty promises a million times before. We're not strangers that you can just tell us police is your friend and we'll believe it. We've known that's a lie since the very start. Really, I'm so grateful for all the people who have been out there protesting and the people who have been online as well, retweeting and doing what it is they can in whatever way they can help. And I really hope that that momentum keeps going. If the government or the police thinks that this is enough, they're not listening. We're not saying reform SARS, we're saying end it. They have killed too many people. They have done too much. It's enough. It's actually not by force, special anti-robbery. It's not by force. End it. The thing that sucks is that people keep saying we're not asking for light or for electricity, for education, we're asking just allow us to walk down the streets and not be killed and not die. We're not asking for too much. End it. And another thing I want to mention is a lot of politicians have been remarkably silent when it comes to all of this. Please remember that when it's 2023 and it's time to vote again. Alright, so for the people, what can you do in the meantime? Well, continue doing what you've been doing. Keep ENDSARS trending as much as you possibly can on social media. Attend protests if you're able to, but if not, then just help out in other ways, Sign as many petitions as you can find. I'll link in ones I can find in the description box below. And I don't know, I don't have anything else to say, to be honest. Just do whatever it is you can do to help and ENDSARS.